Just seeing if they were coming in or not. I think they're hiding. It must be scary today. That being said, I'm not that scary today. I have been a major slacker. I'm actually so tired. So today's class is a little more low-key than usual. Won't be as intense as a normal Tuesday. And that's completely okay. That just means it's a little bit slower pace. That doesn't mean that the difficulty's changing at all. It means we're bringing more intentionality with our movements, paying attention to what muscle we're using at the time, really making sure we're trying to keep our pressure off of our joints so that we're muscle sore but not joint sore, so that you don't hate me too much tomorrow on your day off. That being said, still making sure that you are keeping awareness to your comfort levels. If at any point in time during the class you feel like you're uncomfortable in a movement or it brings pain at all, none of these movements are supposed to be painful. So go ahead and push back on whatever movement's comfortable for you. I know a child's pose is really, really simple for some people, or just standing in a forward fold is really simple for some people. Do what's comfortable for you. If you need a modification, feel free to ask me, but don't be afraid to make your own as well. Today we're going to start either in that kneeling position or on that seated position. Giving a little bit of a warm-up through our upper body. Go ahead and reach your hands up to the ceiling, finding length through your fingertips. Feel free to take little side bends here, stretching out left and right side body. Focusing on that breathing. Expanding through your upper thoracic area, opening your chest to the ceiling. Deep breath in. Exhale, sending that left arm behind you, bringing that right arm to the side of your knee, reaching back just to the point of tension, slowly trying to reach a little bit further, opening up. Breathing through this stretch here. Deep breath in. If at any point you find that your knees are starting to hurt in this position, feel free to grab either that black pad and put it under your knees, or just sit in a seated position. One more deep breath in, really trying to expand here. Exhale, coming all the way back to center, taking those little leans, whatever's comfortable for you. Deep breath in, stretching that right arm all the way back, reaching through your fingertips. Slowly trying to deepen the stretch. One more deep breath in. So you slowly trying to expand just a little bit further. Exhale, coming back to center. Deep breath in. Go ahead and pull your elbows down, meet that 90, trying to pinch that pencil between your scapula. Squeeze your shoulder blades for one deep breath and hold. Exhale, push all the way back up. Length through the fingertips. Exhale, pulling your elbows all the way back down, find that 90, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Pinch that pencil, make sure it doesn't fall. And coming all the way back up for two more, reach. Elbows back in, squeeze. Last one, reach. Elbows back in, squeeze. Deep breath in. Extending your arms out to either side of your body. Go ahead and rotate your wrists a little bit if you can. Feel that stretch in your triceps and pull them back in, palms to ceiling. Deep breath, rotate palms to floor and squeeze those elbows in. You should be feeling this a little bit more in your lower back and your lats. Extending out and squeeze back in. Two more, extending out and squeeze that back. Last one, extending out, squeeze. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring your hands in front of you. Go ahead and interlace your arms in front. Slowly work towards bringing your elbows up, lifting just a little bit, finding that stretch through your back. Slowly breathing through here. On that exhale, try lifting your elbows just a little bit higher, trying to feel a deeper stretch. One more deep breath in. Exhale, go ahead and lower. Unhook your arms from each other. Bring your left hand behind you. Go ahead and lift up, trying to find that camel pose. If you're in the seated position here, feel free to not lift your hips. You can always just extend. In this position, you're only trying to stretch out your right side body. In the camel pose, just adds a little bit more of a stretch for your hips. One more deep breath in. Exhale, lowering all the way back down, fingertips to temples. Bring our little bird wings out, and we're trying to meet elbows in the middle in front of us. Keep that chest lifted up. Stay strong through your core. Focus on your posture being upright. Should feel this in 3 different parts of your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Remembering to breathe, still staying braced, pelvic floor up and in, squeeze through the core. Last one, keeping our wings open just a little bit further. We're gonna gently tilt side to side. Should try to feel this in your core, activate just a little bit, or a lot, up to you. Just wanting to make sure you feel it in your core so you could recognize what your core feels like throughout the class when you activate it. Should be squeezing as you lift up back to center. One more on both sides. If you don't feel it in your core, try taking it a little slower. Last one. We're going to bring our hands out again either side of our body. Interlacing them the other way now. Gently lifting our elbows up. Still feeling this in our back and our shoulders. Whatever way is comfortable for you. Just be a gentle, easy stretch. One more deep breath in. Gently trying to lift our elbows a little bit further up. Exhale, lowering and unhooking. You're going to take your right arm, place it behind you, lift your left arm up, coming back into that camel pose. Stretching out your left side body. And if you're not in that seated position, feeling a gentle stretch through your hips as well. Remembering to breathe here. One more deep breath in. Exhale, lowering all the way back down. Go ahead and spread your knees to either side of your mat, gently walking your hands forward in front of you. Find that child's pose or that puppy pose, whatever's comfortable to you. If you want to add a bit more fluidity through this stretch, feel free to rock your hips side to side just to wake them up a little bit more. As always, we're still breathing here. Taking this time to bring awareness to all 4 corners of your body. Might try wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Paying attention to the feeling of your forearms pressed into the mat. Every exhale, you're slowly sinking your chest further to the floor. Might try box breathing here. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold and repeat. The purpose of this stretch is just to become more in tune with how you're feeling, bring awareness to your breathing, and prepare you for the movements of today's class. Go ahead and take one more deep breath in, trying to walk your fingers just a little bit further. Find that deep stretch. And on your next exhale, push yourself up, finding that tabletop position, hips stacked over knees, shoulders stacked over the heels of your palms. Taking one deep breath in here before we head into cat-cows, lifting your chest up
to the ceiling, expanding through the belly. Deep breath in, hold at the top. Exhale, squeezing your core, lifting up through your navel. Should feel like a string is attached to your belly button and pulling you up. Hold at the top. Another deep breath in, expanding through the belly, lifting up through the chest, opening your heart to the sky. Deep breath in. Exhale, lifting up through the belly, squeezing your core, pushing through your palms. Deep breath in. And one more. Exhale, we're lifting chest to sky, expand through the belly, arching your spine, find that stretch. Hold. Lifting back, finding that neutral spine, straightening out. Taking one deep breath in. We're just going to lift up that left arm straight out in front of us, length through fingertips, warming up that shoulder. Wrap around behind you, back of palm rests on the middle of your back. Reaching out back in front of you again, find that mobility, lowering back down. Lift, length through fingertips, round, shoulder mobility. Rest on back, find that stretch. All the way back in front of you and lower. Look for a point of any tension in this stretch as well. Where is it hard to move your shoulder? Is there pain? Is there tension? Is there numbness? Go ahead and do one more. Really trying to reach this time. Opening up through that mobility, finding that stretch. Reaching back in front of you and lowering that palm down to the ground. Go ahead and curl your toe underneath of you. Kick that left leg back. Keep that knee bent, squeezing through your glute, pushing through the heels of your palm. Slight bend in your elbow just to take the pressure off of your wrists. We're just going to lift that knee up and lower, trying to recognize the feeling of muscle connection in our left glute. Recognize what that activation feels like. Be more intentional with this movement, kicking back. Squeeze that left glute. Stay strong through your core. The only thing that should be moving is your left leg. Really squeezing that glute at the top. For two more. And last one, we're lifting up. Now we're going to move into a bit more mobility for our hips, circling that leg all the way around. Kicking back, squeeze that glute, recognize that muscle activation, open the hips, and circle. Remembering to breathe, let your breath work for you. Squeeze that core, make sure it's still activated. Pushing through your biceps or your triceps, keep that pressure off your wrists. For one more. And we're circling the other way, lifting through the side glute now. Using that minimus and that medius of your glutes. Still squeezing the core. For two more. Last one, feeling a bit of a burn through your glutes. And when you're ready, we're lifting up that right arm, kicking back that left leg, finding length through your fingertips and your toes, stability through your core. Should be a straight line from the tips of your finger, the top of your head, your hips to your foot. Taking one deep breath in on that extension. And on that exhale, you're bringing elbow to knee, squeezing your core. Deep breath in, extending out. Squeeze that glute, lift through that shoulder. And exhale, squeeze that core. Deep breath in, find extension. Exhale, squeeze that core. For one more, really reaching here, finding that length, squeezing that core, finding that straight line. And exhale. elbow to knee, squeeze the core. Lowering all the way down to the ground. We're kicking that right leg out to the side. If your knee gets sore at any point throughout this stretch, feel free to grab either a pillow if you're at home or grab that black block. I don't know what this is called. It's like a pillow. And put your knee on there if it does get tired in any way. We're going to come over to our sides, make sure our shoulder is rested directly above the heel of your palm. Try to keep that elbow bent a little bit. Should feel this in your tricep. One deep breath in. We're lifting our left arm over our head. And on that exhale, we're squeezing that core, elbow to knee, pushing through that right glute, trying to keep that left leg lifted, squeezing through that glute as well. Just remembering to breathe, keep it slow and in control. Recognize the muscles that you are using in the current moment. Are they the ones that you want to be using? Core, glute, shoulder, bicep. Still remembering to breathe. For one more. Lifting up and overhead, keeping that leg extended. We're just going to lower down and lift back up. Lower down and lift back up until we're even with that hip. Slow and in control. Should be a little bit of a burn here. Deep breaths. For two more. And last one, lift. For 6 baby pulses, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, lowering all the way back down, pivoting back, finding that tabletop position. Go ahead and push back, find that child's pose, give yourself a well-deserved break. That was definitely tough. Good job, guys. Breathing here, recognizing any points of tension or stress. What muscles were engaged, what muscles weren't. One more deep breath in. Exhale, pushing back up, tabletop position. Curling your toes underneath of you, pushing through the heels of your palms, slight bend in that elbow. We're lifting all the way up, downward dog, pedaling out those feet. Remembering to breathe. One more deep breath in. Exhale. We're walking our feet to our hands. Forward fold. If this is difficult for you, feel free to grab those blocks. Slowly work towards getting down a little bit further. Letting your spine relax, find that length. Taking deep breaths in. And on that next exhale, we're rolling up vertebra by vertebra all the way to standing, reaching your hand over your head, length through fingertip, little side bends. Hold here for one deep breath. Exhale, rolling back, coming down, forward fold. One deep breath, holding here. And on that next exhale, hinging at the hips, lifting up, straight back, halfway. Holding here, making sure that back's straight, squeezing those glutes, reaching our arms all the way up, squeezing those shoulders together, finding that Y, and lowering all the way back down. I'm going to go ahead and do this again, lifting up halfway, hinging at the hips, straightening that back, squeezing those glutes, bringing your arms up, pinching that pencil behind your shoulder blades, and lowering all the way back down. One more time, lifting up halfway, squeezing the glutes, hinging at the hips, bringing those arms up, squeezing your shoulder. Hold here for one deep breath. Exhale, lowering down. Deep breath in. This time we're rolling all the way back up to standing, reaching our hands over our head, stepping our feet to the outside of our mat. One deep breath in. Exhale, lowering down, squeezing those glutes, using those quads. Try not to hollow out that lower back, holding here. Taking a time to figure out what muscles you're engaging in the current moment. When you're ready, we're going to pick up that left heel and lower it. Alternate, pick up right heel and lower it. You should feel your calf muscle moving to lift up your leg. Once you're comfortable here, feel free to swim. Adding a little bit more upper body movement to this exercise here. Deep breaths in. For 2 more. Last one. Holding back in that squat position. Deep breath in, lowering all the way down. Coming into that yogi squat. If this is difficult for you in any way, feel free to lean forward, place both hands on the ground, slowly work towards getting both heels onto the mat, or place that block underneath of you. And slowly work towards picking yourself up. Just make sure your chest is lifted here. If you're looking to increase that intensity, you can also put both elbows into either side of your knee. One more deep breath in. On that next exhale, placing both palms down in front of you, stepping back with both feet. High plank, slowly lowering your shins down to the mat. Pushing through your triceps, keeping your elbows close to your sides as you lower all the way down. Deep breath in, pushing through your fingertips, lifting yourself up. Baby cobra. If you're looking to increase that mobility here, feel free to look over each shoulder, remembering to breathe. For 2 more. Lowering all the way back down, taking a deep breath, bringing your left leg up to meet your glute and reaching back. If you can't grab your foot, that's okay, just reach. But if you can, slowly work towards getting the heel of your foot closer to your glute. Remembering to breathe. Should feel this in your quad, in your shoulder. One more deep breath in. Exhale, letting go of that foot and bringing your palm back under your shoulder. Lifting your right foot now, reaching back with your right arm. Working towards getting the heel of that foot to that glute, or working towards grabbing that foot. Still feeling that quad stretch, that shoulder stretch. And go ahead and let go of that foot when you're ready, pushing all the way back into that child's pose, extending through those shoulders. Go ahead and walk your hands to the left, feeling a stretch through your right side body. Slowly work towards sinking further to the floor. Every inhale, try walking your fingers just a little bit further. Every exhale, let yourself fall further into that stretch. When you're ready, we're walking to the right side now. Remembering to breathe. Really focus on that stretch. Where do you feel it? Trying to walk your fingertips a little bit further. One more deep breath in. Exhale, we're walking back to center, pushing yourself up, finding that tabletop position. Remember, shoulders over heels of palms, hips over knees. We're going to mimic the same thing for the other side now. So when you're ready, we're going to pick up that right arm lifted in front of us and circle behind. Find that mobility, let it rest into that stretch, and circle in front. Lower down, lift, rotate, stretch. Doing this at a pace that's comfortable for you, wherever you feel the most stretch. You might need to stop in one of the places, increasing your mobility, deepening a stretch in a certain part of your shoulder. For one more. Reaching up, really trying to increase that range of motion here. Reaching in front of you. Go ahead and lower that palm back down to the ground. We're going to kick that right leg back this time. Trying to feel the squeeze in your glute, the stability through your core, lowering that knee. Kicking that leg back, squeeze that glute. Paying attention to what the muscle feels like. Still remembering to breathe, make that breath work for you. Exhale as you kick back. Inhale as you lower. Trying to do this at a slow and controlled pace. For one more, really squeezing that glute at the top and bringing around to circle it. Working on that mobility, still staying strong through the core, opening up your hip. Remembering to breathe. For two more. Last one. And circling the other direction. Do you still feel it in the same place with the muscle? Do you feel it in a different spot? Is your glute still engaged? Are you still squeezing your core? For one more. Lowering that knee all the way back to the ground. We're sending our left arm out in front of us, kicking that right leg back. Trying to keep that straight line, stay lifted through your core, pelvic floor up and in. And on that exhale, we're bringing elbow to knee. Inhale, find that length, get that straight line. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squeeze. For one more. Really looking for that length, squeezing through that core, and lowering all the way back down. When you're ready, we're going to pivot on that left knee. Feel free to use that pad here if your knee hurts in any way, shape, or form. Pivoting all the way, opening our chest to the wall beside us, lifting that right arm up and overhead, keeping that left arm a little bit bent, taking that pressure off of your wrist. When you're ready, we're lifting that leg up and crunching elbow to knee. Should feel this more in your obliques, in the side of your glute, instead of more in the middle of your core, in the middle of your glute. Using your breath. If you need more balance, feel free to place that block under your left hand. For one more.
Reaching all the way up. We're going to lower that leg and lift. Still engaging that glute. Keeping that balance, staying strong through the core. You can do it. Remembering to breathe for 2 more. Last one, stay lifted for 6 baby pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lowering that leg all the way down, pivoting back to center. Push back, finding a well-deserved child's pose. Taking this time to do a full body scan and check in with yourself. What's sore? What kind of sore is it? Is it pain? Is it muscle fatigue? Taking those deep breaths, allowing yourself to relax. One more deep breath in. And on that exhale, we're lifting ourselves all the way back up, tabletop position, curling those toes underneath of us. Slight bend in those elbows, push up, downward dog. Remembering to breathe, letting yourself sink further into the stretch. Hips are lifted and high to the ceiling. Slowly work towards pushing your rib cage into the tops of your thighs. Deep breath in. When you're ready, pick up that left leg, send it up to the ceiling. Feel free to hold here, or if you'd like to increase the intensity, bending that knee, tilting your hips to the wall to your left. Keeping those shoulders parallel to the floor beneath of you. For 1 deep breath in. Exhale, bringing elbow to inside knee. Kick back. Knee to outside elbow. Kick back. And knee to center, using that core, squeezing through your triceps, using those shoulders. One more time, knee to inside elbow. Push back. Knee to outside elbow. Push back. This time we're bringing knee to chest, lowering all the way down, finding that pigeon pose. Deep breaths in, keeping those hips centered to the floor beneath you. You don't want to rock side to side. You want to be parallel to the wall in front of you and the floor beneath of you. As you slowly start to sink into this stretch, feel free to walk your hands a little bit further forward if you'd like to increase that in intensity. Holding here, 1 more deep breath in. Should be stretching your hip. On that next exhale, you're pushing yourself back up, curling your toes underneath of you. Step that foot back, finding that downward dog. Deep breath in. Now do the same thing for the other side. Now go ahead and kick your right leg back. 3-legged dog. If you'd like to increase the intensity, feel free to bend that knee, tilt your hips to the right. 1 more deep breath in. Exhale, bringing that knee to your outside elbow. Kick back. Knee to inside elbow. Kick back, squeezing that core. Knee to center. And kick back. 1 more time, knee to outside elbow. Kick back. Knee to inside elbow. Kick back. Knee to center. All the way to your chest, slowly lowering down, finding that pigeon pose. Trying to keep your hips centered to the ground below you. Prioritizing the quality of the stretch. And if you'd like to increase the intensity, walking your hands just a little bit further. Taking another deep breath in. Exhale, we're pushing ourselves all the way back up. You're gonna fall to your right glute. Go ahead and swing that leg all the way around in front of you, finding that seated position. If you can, grabbing one of your blocks. We'll need it later. Deep breath in. Bring your hands to either side of your knees, slowly lifting your feet up off the ground, tilting that pelvic floor up and in. Chest should be lifted up to the ceiling. Squeeze through your core here. And we're holding for another 15 seconds, taking those deep breaths. If you can, and if you have one, grabbing that block, placing it in front of you. Deep breath in. When you're ready, we're opening up, still keeping those feet lifted, squeezing through the core, alternating sides. Squeezing through the core. Try not to use your hip flexors too much. For one more, keeping that block lifted in front of you, alternating taps with your knees to meet the block. Till your toe touches the floor. Deep breaths. And go ahead and synchronize them, both toes at the same time. Squeeze that core. Keep that quality. If you need to hold, just hold. Deep breaths. For one more. Lift. Go ahead and lower those feet all the way down to the ground, letting your vertebra slide down to the mat, one at a time. Keeping that block with you. Just go ahead and let your knees fall to either side of your body. Stretch that out a little bit more. Remembering to take those deep breaths and focus on how your muscles are feeling in the current moment. When you're ready, we're meeting back in center. Go ahead and lift both legs up. Bring that block to meet your shins. It's going to be an anchor point. Alternate lowering one leg at a time. See if you can feel each side of your abdominals activate. Every time you bring that leg up, the goal here is to make sure your lower back is still in contact with the mat. You don't want to hollow out there. Keep your abdominals engaged the entire time. And when you think you're ready, try lowering both legs at the same time. Just until you think your back's going to lift up off of the floor. Deep breaths in. For two more. Last one. Bring your legs all the way back up, bending your knees. Bring the block above your head, extending them out, lifting them back up, resting that block on your shins, and extending them again. We're almost done, guys. Make your breath work for you. Two more.
Slow and in control. Last one. Bringing your knees close to you. Set that block to the side. Go ahead and hug them. Taking those deep breaths. Let your core relax. Deep breath in. Go ahead and lower your feet back down to the mat, keeping the heels of your feet behind your glutes. Tilt your pelvic floor up and in. Make sure your lower back is touching the mat. When you're ready, you're going to squeeze your glutes and lift your pelvis all the way up off the ground, finding a glute bridge. If you want to increase the intensity, feel free to come up on your shoulders, interlace your hands behind your back, finding a stretch for your core. Still taking those deep breaths. Go ahead and exhale, letting yourself fall all the way back to the mat. When you're ready, kicking that right leg all the way up, having the outside of your right ankle meet the top of your left knee, grabbing on to your left hamstring or your left shin, holding here. Option to rock side to side if that feels comfortable. Congratulating yourself for showing up today and doing the things. Showing up for yourself. Giving yourself a moment to relax. When you're ready, sending your hands to either side of your body, gently letting your hips fall to the left, trying to place the bottom of your foot on the floor, finding a stretch through your right hip and a twist in your lower back. The goal is to have both shoulders still planted on the floor if you can. One more deep breath in. Exhale, coming all the way back up to center. Unhooking that foot. Lifting your left. Hooking it over your right now. Grab onto that hamstring or that shin. Gently pulling it closer to you. Option to rock side to side. If that feels good to you. When you're ready, we're sending both hands to either side of our body, gently letting our hips fall to the right, trying to touch the bottom of our left foot, and still keep our shoulders planted into the mat. Feeling a nice stretch through your left hip and a twist in your lower back. One more deep breath in, really trying to deepen this stretch. When you're ready, we're coming all the way back to center. Go ahead and unhook your left foot from your right. Bring the soles of your feet together, gently letting your knees drop to either side of your body. One hand over your heart. One hand over your stomach. We're going to meet here for our last few breaths of class today, taking this time to bring awareness to all four corners of your body. You might try wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Feel the back of your head pressed into the mat. Paying attention to the rise and fall of your chest. You might try box breathing here. In for 4. Hold for 4, out for 4, hold, and repeat. slowly allowing yourself to sink further and further into the floor. Allowing your body to fully relax. You might want to try to take a full brain scan here. Is there tension in your temples? What does the top of your head feel like? Are you squeezing your jaw? Are you shrugging your shoulders? You lengthening through your spine, opening through your hips, feeling a stretch through your inner thighs. What muscles are tense? What muscles are sore? What muscles feel stretched? One more deep breath in. That brings us to the end of today's class. Feel free to stay and stretch if that feels good to you. As always, feel free to let me know if there's anything you want to work on in the future. If you're online, go ahead, leave it in the comments. I promise I'll check them this time. With that, I look forward to seeing you all again on Thursday. Have a wonderful evening.